Hey, Canute here. Today I'll be showing you how to import audio into a session, session data, grouping, coloring, and much more. Meko go night. So this is the folder where I have the multi-track, right? So say you download it and it's right here. You want to make sure, say you check the properties on the files. And how you do it is you right click and you go get info. You can see it says 48 and sample rate is 32. It tells you the duration. It tells you how many channels are attached to it. Go and double check another one. We'll see that it's 48 as well, 32. And if the duration is different, doesn't mean anything much. It might just mean the consolidated region wasn't all lined up at the end. So we're going to check when we import, make sure they all sync. All right. So we do that. We're going to go to Pro Tools. In Pro Tools, you're going to go File, go New Session, and you have a few options here. Now we just saw the files we're going to import is 32-bit, and the sample rate is 48K. All right. We're going to keep it at .wav, and we're going to hit OK. Now, Pro Tools want to ask you where you want to save the session. And so you'll see it say up here, Save As. And right now we want to save it here. So we're going to call this Import. We'll call this YouTube. Cool. And we hit Save. Pro Tools create it. Now you notice it comes up blank. All right, so we need to import the files. Here we go. We go File, Import, Audio. You can see the shortcut here. Import audio. Now, if it doesn't populate where you want the files, obviously you'd go look for it. You'd come here, select. Now, there's a few things in this window, right? You can select the file again just to make sure. You'll see the bit depth, you see the sample rate, you see the channels, you see the size of the file, and then you see the length and you see the type. It's .wav, so we're good. And then you can also preview that that you select. You can scrub through and get to here. All right, cool. So right here, pay attention to here. The best option is to copy it so that it goes into that new folder that you set. Right? If you add it, it's going to stay in the old one and it's going to be using that. And if you delete that one, then your goose cook. All right? So you can copy or add, if you so desire, one at a time. And how you do it is select it there, select it here, see it, and you could copy it over here. All right? If, say, you didn't want to do it and you wanted to remove it, you could go ahead and remove it. But for right now, we want to copy all of this. So we're going to select the top one, going to hold down Shift and select the last one. And then you could hit copy all, or you could just hit copy. Right now, we're going to hit copy. Cool. Now, it doesn't have to do sample rate conversion because we already created the same sample rate it was. Now, for example, if you went ahead and you had a different sample rate or you wanted to upsample it, then that's what this would have done. And selecting that would have auto-select it, but it would have tell you, say, it going from 48 to, say, for example, 96, or it's going from 48 back down to 44. Hit done. Now it's going to ask you where you want to save it. Best thing to do with Pro Tools is allow it to save it to this folder here, audio files. All right, and hit open, and it's going to process the audio. So this dialog box, it's simply just asking you, do you want to create a new track to the destination, or you want to put it in the clip list, and where you want it to be. You want it to be the start of the session, or you want to do a selection or a spot. Now, for this purpose, we're going to do start of the session. We'll hit OK. As you can see, the all the ones that we selected, they are now imported. All right. So a few things on here that you want to take notice. There's a couple stereo files. They separated them based on how it was saved. Sometimes this comes in one file and it's stereo, and you'd have to separate it if you'd like. But in this case, how it was labeled, you can see this one says organ A1, organ A2. And we're just simply just gonna pan some of these for right now. Don't concern yourself so much of playing it as they come in. Usually you'd probably have heard the demo already and you know what the sound is like. This portion we want to make sure we are, spending the time to organize things. And so I want to organize a few things like how the tracks will appear, what comes first, and so on. So I group it as best as I can right now, and I want to identify them a little bit more. And this is where I want to color the tracks. And so I could select one and double click on this portion here and the color palette comes up. Or I can go window and select color palette and come up. And I want to group it. I want to put it in this color. I can do multiple ones by selecting it and holding down shift and selecting the ones, and they do them in bulk. Now say you want to remember what color you did one, you can select on here and you'll see it shows you the multiple colors, and the colors you want is this one, and you select it, and that's how you do it. So next we want to import the session data of another tune with the effects, and we'll go File, Import Session Data, and I'm gonna grab this one right here, Tune Cost Llama. Now things to note, this is gonna tell you all the source properties. It's gonna tell you the session title, the time codes, bit depth, sample rate, so on and so forth. If you notice, this one is different. Now we're not gonna worry about that because we're not copying over any of the files from that session. We're just copying over the aux, or the auxes. All right, so I'll go scroll down and see, and we'll get all of these right here. Cool. Now you notice I select on there and just select new tracks and all of that. Things to note, we're not going to import any track data, any playlists or anything like that. Sample rate won't bother us, and we're just going to hit OK. And there you are. So all of these effects that was in another tune, we carry them over, and the automation that was there, we're just going to clear that, right? Now in all of this, I don't have a master track or a master fader, and how you do that is track, new, we're going to create one stereo master fader, and we're going to hit create. There we are. Then we're going to grab all of these, and we're just going to move them down to the end. Get those out the way. Now, this is where you're going to go and assign all your outputs. We'll do that in another video, but for right now, we want to check to see if everything line up, which we know it is because we see that the consolidated regions and all of these, they follow. All right. And so we're just going to play from top. things to note is over here shows you all the tracks that you just imported, including the master fader and all the effects. And then there's a portion over here, the clip. You can select a different media. See, for example, this one, it shows you there's 2 channels attached. It shows you A1 and A2. And if you wanted to drag them in again, that's where you could do it. Right now, we'll just go and hide that. That's all the time we have for you today. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. My name is Canute. See you next time.